Well, hello everybody, this is Tim W. Leathertachi 1996, and welcome to the two-part special that I mentioned last week after Godzilla Final Wars with Godzilla from the year 1998. Well, from TriStar Pictures, really. And I know what you're all going to say. You're going to say, oh, wait a minute, you just said we all know this movie came out in 1998. Why didn't you review this after Godzilla vs. Destroyer? Well, hey, buddy. Well, hey, folks. The reason why that I'm reviewing this movie last out of after doing Final Wars is because when it comes to Godzilla, I do American versions. I do this American version last after Final Wars because it's like we've seen how Japan does it. Now let's see how America does it. And like I said in the Final Wars review when I got to the screenshot of Godzilla, I'm gonna say this again. The name Zilla is bullshit. The Zilla name is complete bullshit. Oh my god, I hate the name Zilla. It is so ridiculous. Did Toho really call this monster that? Did Toho actually do this? Please. Did Toho actually name this monster Zilla? Oh my god. If that's true, why? I hate that name. I hate that name. I hate that name. It's bullshit, in the words of the cop from Ghost Rider. Yeah, oh my god. Like I said in that review, I will rant on the hate that this movie gets to this day by Godzilla fans. I know I'm a diehard Godzilla fan, and I know a lot of you people out there who watch this, who have seen this movie and will most likely, and who will probably watch this review. No, you guys will watch this review because you guys have stuck with the series for this long. So, I know a lot of you out there would be like, oh, well, how can you say anything positive about this movie? Well, hey, I'm gonna say everything positive about this movie, well, except my 4 effects cons that I found with this movie, actually. Every Godzilla has effects cons. There's not a Godzilla movie that does not have effects cons. But this is the movie that got me introduced to Godzilla. When my dad got me this movie on VHS, and anybody remember the VHS tape that it had subtitles that were in Spanish? Does anybody remember that? From like the early 2000s or late 90s or some shit? You know? You don't? Well, sorry. But that's the copy I had on VHS, and then when I was in high school, the former YouTuber, one of my very good friends, Spartan043, gave it to me. He gave it to me on DVD as a birthday present when he and I were in high school. But yes, like I said, I'm going to rant on all the hate that this movie gets because I don't understand where the hate for this movie comes from. I really don't get it. I really don't understand where the hate comes from because seriously, okay, so what? Godzilla does not look like the stand up like a person, you know, dinosaur, okay? It's like, here are some parallels before I get into how awesome the special effects are in this movie. Now let me get into where's the confusion. That's what this little section of this review is called. Where's the confusion? Here, because what I don't understand is, okay, the movie starts off with mysterious shipping disasters. Okay. Number 2, one survivor from one of those shipping disasters manages to get to an island where Godzilla's in, where the rumor of Godzilla is introduced. And also sorry, there's a love story in the original, just like in this movie. Also, the Godzilla makes the Japanese roar, if anyone even bothered to pay attention to that. If you listen to his roar, on top of this, Godzilla's created by nuclear bomb testing, like in the original. And yes, I sound like, and yes, I'm sorry that I'm yelling. Oh, and there's a sixth thing. It's a giant lizard or reptile with spikes on his back. So, naming those 6 similarities with the very original movie from 1954, where's the confusion? Where's the hate? I don't get where the hate's coming from. Now, the one thing that Roland Emmerich, who did Independence Day, which I really, really love, is, okay, look here at Godzilla's design. Look at this design, okay? From the way the opening credits of the movie explain here, without any dialogue, and it's through scenes of a nuclear bomb going off and shots of iguanas and a Komodo dragon, you know. Apparently, this version of Godzilla is basically a mutated iguana. And the way you can tell is, look at his back. His back spines have a very distinct iguana-ish kind of look to him. And look at his neck. He has the throat thing that iguanas have hanging off their necks. So, yeah. Basically, like, I call this thing Iguana Godzilla. I know I said in last week's review for Final Wars, like I said, this is the 2-part special, and the animated series following this movie will come next week after I watch all 40 episodes of that. But we're just focusing on the movie right now. Anyways, so yeah, the one thing I love Godzilla's origin, it's like all they really took was he's created by radiation and he disturbs the life of a big city. But that's all Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, the producer, that's all they took, for the basic plot. And it sounds like it would pay homage to The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, right? And most other monster movies from the 1950s. So this movie does do a solid job of paying tribute to that. But the fact that they literally make him not a dinosaur, but they have him as a mutant iguana, which is really interesting. But one thing I do love, though, is that this movie focuses more on Godzilla being like the ancient mythological side, because in the very, very first movie, that's another parallel, that's a 7th parallel trait with the original, is Godzilla is described in Japanese folklore in this universe as a myth, a legend, a legendary monster from the ocean, and they mention that in the movie in a news report that Godzilla is called by Japanese sailors as a mythological sea dragon. So yeah, that's another parallel that this movie shares with the original. So where's the hate? I'm gonna keep saying it because I really don't understand why this movie's so hated on the world over. When I read about all the hate that this movie gets, it drives me crazy. Anyways, and I want to apologize. If you ever heard my phone ring a little bit ago, that was my girlfriend, AKIO UICHI, my very beautiful angel. The link to her channel will be in the description below. She's got I'm sorry to get off topic, but she's got really fun videos to watch. So these cute little, currently, if I'm not mistaken, she just finished doing a little vlog for Christmas, like this place called Santaland in Texas or whatever. or something like that. And she also does some gameplays. So, like I said, the link to her channel will be in the description below. Anyways, I just had to give my baby a nice shout out. Anyways, back to this movie. I just don't understand. I mean, the Godzilla in this movie, he feels very, I don't know. This is the first time we've seen Godzilla actually look like this is nature's way of designing Godzilla right now, because literally it's his behavior, okay? He looks like an iguana, number one. His iguana, the fact that he's basically an iguana, number one. Number two is when an animal feels threatened, it's gonna run. Animals always do that. And that's what happens twice in this movie when military helicopters, when the military shoots at Godzilla, he runs away from them for a little bit, and then he comes out of a building and he retaliates. So, hey, when an animal is scared, it runs. It'll either run or it'll fight, and Godzilla does both those things in this movie. Oh, and also, a lot of people say that he does not breathe fire in this movie. He actually does. There's one shot in this movie where he breathes fire, one shot out of this entire thing, where he actually breathes fire. It's not the atomic breath that that fans love to see. It's more like regular fire, like a flamethrower or like a dragon or something like that. But it's in one shot out of this whole 2 hours and 18 minutes. Yes, I've looked at the time duration. So yeah, so that's an eighth parallel to the original movie. Anyways, I'm sorry, I just hate the hate. I hate the hate that this movie gets. I can't stand it. And and also him tunneling underground. That's another thing I got. And I know I haven't talked about the screenshots much, but every screenshot that you've seen up until this point here, I'll explain this screenshot in a second. But the thing with all the effects in this, I love the fact that, like every other Godzilla movie, from 1984 to Final Wars, it's a mix of CG and practical effects. Like, they had shots of Godzilla here that was CGI, obviously, and then there were some shots that were puppets. And and they had miniatures in this movie, which is amazing. I mean, they don't do the guy in a suit thing, but for the explosions, and for some explosive explosion scenes or whatever, they had miniature sets, and the miniature sets were huge. I saw a photo on the DVD release. On the DVD, I just got done watching behind the scenes. Well, this photo gallery on the special features on the DVD, and the miniature sets. There was one photo where a couple of miniature sets were taller than the people. I mean, they had miniature buildings that stood about 10 feet tall compared to one guy, and the Madison Square Garden miniature was about 7 feet tall. Yeah, they really went crazy with this movie. And also, that's one thing I gotta, and for a guy who admitted that he's not a Godzilla fan to begin with, he made a good one. He actually made a good Godzilla movie. He made a kick-ass monster movie, actually. That's what, I just really love this movie. Now to my effects cons. I've been praising this movie a lot. Now to my effects cons. When Godzilla first, here's a shot of like one of the full shots was designed, and this is wallpaper worthy to me. And I just really love this look, and the CGI it's really good CG for 1998, but it's the 90s, so there will be in the 90s was when CGI was starting to become a big thing. So yeah, So of course there's some shots that are like, it's 1990s. You just got to deal with it. Okay, now to my effects cons. I haven't talked about those yet. Usually I'd have talked about them a lot earlier. When one of the human characters runs away from Godzilla when he first comes out of the street, there's when one of the human characters runs away, it looks too green screened. The compositing just looks a little too green screened. When he runs away from Godzilla's head coming out of the street. And there's this other shot, my second effects con. I wonder if any of you guys have caught this over the years, but there's a shot where soldiers, there's a CGI effects mistake that CinemaSins pointed out, and I never noticed it at first, where these soldiers appear out of thin air at one point while the camera's from behind Godzilla, like under his tail, and he's eating the first giant pile of fish. There's off to the right of Godzilla's, off to the right near Godzilla's feet, you will see soldiers appear out of thin air. Like, I wonder if anyone caught that. Oh, and also, and then there's the babies. Let me talk about my third effects con, actually, before I talk about the babies. What was it? Oh, and there's also this great scene when Godzilla jumps into the Hudson River, and the submarines, actually, they take him down. They knock him out for a good chunk of the movie here. And I know it's supposed to be, despite being completely CG, when Godzilla knocked out and completely still floats out of the smoke or dust under the Hudson River, he looks like a puppet against a green screen. It looks too much like a puppet against a green screen despite being complete CGI. I don't know, now that I look at it now, watching it as an adult, it looks too much like a puppet in front of a green screen to me. And I don't know if you guys feel the same about that one shot. You guys know what shot I'm talking about. And now, onto the babies. The babies, it's like, okay, they say in this movie that Godzilla, despite being a male, they call him a he throughout the whole movie. They say he's pregnant, not kidding, because of the fact that, and that's another thing, that's a ninth parallel with the original films. Not with the original movie, but the original 28. Godzilla has kids. There's a ninth parallel. Oh my god, so many parallels with the original 28. Where is all this bullshit hate coming from? Anyways, yeah, but this movie over-exaggerated it and had Godzilla laying 200 eggs inside Madison Square Garden, and out come these babies that look like velociraptors mixed with alien. I'm not kidding. You can see by the screenshot, it's like Velociraptor from Jurassic Park mixed with the skin texture of Xenomorph. With the skin texture of Xenomorphs from Alien vs. Predator 2004. I don't know, but one thing I really do love about the babies is that there was like a lot of actors playing them in suits. Like, I love that this movie did the people in suit routine with a Godzilla movie by having actors play the babies. And it's not all the babies, because 99% of them were completely CG, but then there's that little 1% that was played by suit actors. That's cool. I love the fact that they did that, because that's how Godzilla is. Godzilla's always been portrayed as guy in a suit. I mean, yes, in the Millennium era we've seen, in Season 3 we have seen complete CGI shots of Godzilla, in 2000, Megaguirus, GMK, we've seen, in Tokyo SOS also, we've seen full CG shots of Godzilla, but that was only like in one shot, really. So yeah, it's like, I love the fact that this movie did the guy in a suit routine. May not have been with the big guy, but it's with his babies. But still, the fact that they did it is amazing to me. I love that they still did it, and I love the detailing on the babies. They look super realistic for puppets and suits and you know. I love the detailing on them. It looks very reptilian, very dinosaur-like, and the movie has this really great finale. Well, before I talk about the ending, I noticed that when Godzilla's chasing after the four main human characters of this movie, after the military blows up Madison Square Garden, killing every baby Godzilla except Big Guy, every member of the species except Big Dude, well, except Big Guy, literally, Godzilla looks at the main four human characters and he thinks they killed them all, so he chases after them for the whole ending of this movie. And I literally saw a wire. There's a wire holding up one of the actors that could be seen as he hops over a fence. Dead serious. I never would have thought in this movie I would notice anything. I would notice any wire work, but you can clearly see it. Oh my god, you can clearly see it in front of Godzilla's face, attached to one of the actors. Now, those are my only 4 effects cons with this movie. In all honesty, I mean, with the wire thing, it's like, it's there, but it only happens for like half a second. So you could probably miss it if you weren't really looking. And with the other effects cons, it's like, you can easily dismiss them. The soldiers appearing out of thin air if you weren't paying attention. And the other ones is like, you can miss them. You can easily miss them, you know, if you're not looking hard enough. That's why I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I'm saying this Godzilla movie, I'm saying this right now. Godzilla TriStar, I say TriStar because I know 1998 and yada yada yada. I already explained that at the beginning of this video. But Godzilla from TriStar gets a solid 10 out of 10 for me. Straight up 10 out of 10, because this is the movie that introduced me to the character, and I've always loved this movie. I've always loved it. It's not on my top 7 of favorite Godzilla movies. It's not, but I still love watching it. My recommendation, I would recommend this to Godzilla fans. I really want to, but since fans the world over hate this movie, I'm like 80-20 on it. No, I'm more like 60-40. 60% I can't recommend it to Godzilla fans because of all the hate. And the 40 is like, okay, if Godzilla fans, if you want to watch the whole franchise like I've been throughout this whole damn series, yeah, give it a watch. It's a great movie, and I mentioned 9 parallels. Oh, look, here's 10 parallels. Godzilla dies! Except, though, he dies in the natural, normal American way. They shoot his ass down with missiles. But still, he dies! There's 10 parallels that this movie shares with the original 28. Okay? The other 9 are with the very first movie, and one of them is carried throughout throughout the original 28. Okay, so, oh my god, I'm sorry. I will defend this movie always, because I just mentioned 10 parallels that this movie has with the original 28 film franchise. So, again, where's the hate? And the Zilla name is bullshit. Say it once, say it again. Zilla name is bullshit. Bullshit. It's Godzilla. Damn it. Anyways, so yeah, Godzilla from TriStar. Like I said, it's one of my favorite Godzilla movies. I'm always gonna love it. Great special effects work. I love the effects. The really awesome CG. The puppet effects worked really great. Suit acting, you know, playing the babies is amazing. It's cool that they did a mix of practical effects and CGI in this movie. I love the fact that they did that. because that's how Godzilla has been done since 1984, and I really love that. So yeah, this movie gets a perfect 10 out of 10, and you know what? And heck, like I already said my recommendation. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this movie. And if you people disagree, if fans other than the folks watching this disagree, then hey, that's just my thoughts on the movie. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope some of you fans agree with me on this, please. Anyways, well, please hit me up a like and subscribe to not only this channel but to Megas Dragon again. For part 1 of the special and part 2, he made the amazing logo for this 2-part special. So subscribe to his channel, Movie Reviews Library, because he's with me and Alan on that channel. Links will be in the description below. And also, please subscribe to my girlfriend AKIO UICHI. Big shout out to my baby. So this is Tim W. Leather Touch 1996, and I'll see you next week with the animated series of this. All right, see you folks.